Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 33, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on the weekends on Saturdays and release it on new podcast services like Apple and Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us some love and follow us on any podcast services to not miss an episode. I am Davis Green with CFG Games, and with me are my two awesome co-hosts. I have This Is Lex. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing? Happy Sunday.
Besides tearing my hair apart, figure out what's wrong with all the stuff that's happening. It's been going all right, but it's been going good. How about you?
I didn't sleep at all last night, but I am shockingly in good spirits, so that's a plus.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. It's just a chill Sunday over here, and I'm ready to finish up my laundry later.
Oh, yes. I know, I need to too. You know what's funny? I have to wait till 8 o'clock my time just to do the laundry. I mean, I can do it any time before, but anything after 8, the electricity is free. So I was just like, okay. So I might as well
really?
Yeah.
Anything after 8, the electricity is free?
Yeah,
that's like so weird.
It's a free night. It says the plan that I did was free nights. So and night starts at 8 p.m. So I was like, okay, let me do that. So I don't have to worry about it. I've
never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, I haven't heard of it either. But as much money as they're charging for electricity, I'm definitely taking out each and every advantage as I can take on it. So. But
absolutely,
I don't blame you.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you been playing anything recently, Lex? Anything new?
I don't think you'll be shocked to hear this. Monster Hunter. If I'm on the PC, I am playing Monster Hunter. Whether I am live, whether I'm not live, I am playing Monster Hunter. We do obviously through the week. The streams are preset. But if I'm just not feeling the game, I magically switch over to Monster Hunter because I can't stop. And I love Iceborne, even though it scares the daylights out of me. Those monsters are insane.
Iceborne scares you?
So scary. And have you seen their version of the Barith?
Yeah.
So the name is very similar, spelt Barioth, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically a Siberian tiger
with wings.
Ooh,
but it has like the little pincers on it, so it can like scuttle at you.
Yep.
And the 20-foot long tail. I saw that and just screamed, no, and took off running in the other direction. And my back, because I had to see the cutscene before anyone can join in on me when that happens, or whenever. I need to see a cutscene before anyone can join me. And they were all laughing, like, we're on our way. Like, I'm going to die before you guys get here. I'm going to pass out 3 times. There's no way.
Yeah, that thing is like
they're insane.
Agile like crazy. Yeah, they're super fast and they're all moving around and they're jumping on walls and they're climbing on the top and then gliding down to get you. Yeah, they do a lot. But that thing was kind of fast and quick, but scary. I wouldn't say scary. Scary is a little bit strong.
I'm light sensitive, so I can see it, but white gives me just massive. It's like looking at a car headlight. That halo you get, I get that like the size of a house when the car headlights coming at me at night. So white does the same thing for me,
right?
And I turn my monitor all the way down, and I have to turn the brightness up for people to see when I'm streaming because I play so dark. So I have an advantage and I can actually see what I'm fighting if it happens to be white on top of the snow. I couldn't really see it, and it's just coming at you. And no matter how far I'm getting from it, it's still hitting me. I'm like, what the heck's happening? That was scary, more or less. Do you know what I mean? Is like I know it's big, but clearly it's a lot bigger than what I'm seeing, and I can't seem to get away from it.
That sounds about right.
That's cool. My week. Sums up.
Have you been? So you haven't beaten it yet, then?
Oh no, I have not beat Iceborne. I'm
No.
still,
I mean
I'm
the
one of
saber.
those
I'm talking
people
about the
that I
barrier.
have to do all of like the optionals, not necessarily the investigations, unless they're helping me build ammo or armor, things like that, weaponry, or stuff for my palico. So I'm very like, okay, I beat the game and now I'm in Iceborne and I'm exploring that, but I'm still going back, especially when I'm off stream. It's one of those, like, you know, when people are
Well,
like
the game
building
itself is not
Sims as their
supposed to.
zen.
Yeah, the game's not really supposed to be finished immediately. I was just talking about specifically you haven't beaten the barrier itself, like, or have you? Beaten
Yeah,
it?
no, I beat that. We beat it first try, thankfully.
Uh-huh.
Once I was able to kind of like calm down and see it for what it was, Zen came in and he helped me, and we kicked its butt pretty fast, just the two of us. But yeah, it's just kind of like getting to know my landscape better and realizing what works for me, because again, I'm really light sensitive. So the bright white background of the horror frost just in general is difficult for me to see.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
And I
fine.
can't see my my little bugs on the white as it is. So I'm just kind of moving around blindly, I guess.
So that must
I'm
be a
just
very
kinda, like,
interesting way of doing it.
learning the landscape.
That's cool. And
Yeah, I play by ear a lot.
nice. All right. And I got the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee on the third seat. I got Smitty. How you doing, buddy?
Not bad, not bad. Another grindy week at work. I got my butt whooped in the that Mario Kart tournament last week. I didn't realize there was a strong dude. There is a strong Mario Kart scene out here in Vegas. But it was fun. It was fun. I had a good time. I beat the little kids, so I didn't feel too bad.
That made you not feel
little kids, I should say.
You felt good by beating the little kids. The little kids.
That's that was a good enough start for me, because when I started realizing the level of talent that was there, I was just like, that is all I can hope for. I wasn't planning on drinking. I ended up drinking, just you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, dude, I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm just gonna go have some fun. So, but it was a good time. It was a good time. And then I got I'm playing a lot of Kakarot too. That I'm enjoying it, and kind of going through that. You know, again, the story, it's the same stories that have been told, but you know, I mean, as far as like the gameplay of it, it's pretty fun. I'm enjoying it. It's more of the nostalgia thing than anything. I mean, definitely, if you're not a fan of DBZ, you know, holding off, let it get cheaper, and then, but I definitely recommend playing it. I think it's still fun and worth a play. But it's been good.
What game is this?
Dragon Ball.
DBZ, Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Oh, gotcha. That
Yeah,
was
it's
like
kinda
foreign language. I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never played any of the Dragon Ball Z's.
It's almost, and this one's kind of like that, almost like that action RPG kind of. It's kind of got that RPG feel, because like you go into battle, you know, it like goes to a different scene as opposed to it just actually happening, you know, as you're flying around or whatever. So definitely some interesting mechanics for it, for sure. But I'm enjoying
That's
it.
awesome.
Very nice, man. Yeah, no.
What about yourself, man? How's your week?
This week has been
CFG, what are you up to?
Oh, this week's been a little crazy, but like, well, we filed, like, I've been working hard to get the new update on our on the website confreaksandgeeks.com. So that's active. It just came active and up and running yesterday. Nice. So that's so it looks very good. Nice. You should check how interactive it is now. So I'm definitely glad that the way it turned out. So definitely check it out at confreaksandgeeks.com. And also we added a new domain, so you could the best way to get is also the CFG.net. So that's a lot smaller, simpler, easier. So definitely check it out. We're going to be doing some more cool stuff on that. Then I decided to start finishing up the articles I wrote for CES, because I didn't release any of that stuff because I was busy upgrading the website. So now I'm
right.
Now since that's cleared out, now I need to take care of all of that, and so working on that right now. Got two of the 4. So I'm halfway there, and then just on my free time, I've just been I call it free time, but the time that I do play some more, trying to do some Monster Hunter, especially since that event is now currently happening. So I'm needing to play some. I'm going to play some after this and see how far I'm going to go before I call it a night. a night here. So that's
right.
Yeah. So I'm definitely been pretty on the grind as it were. So, but
that January grind, I feel like a lot of people have. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no. Well, I'm trying to clear out the palette because I know in February, even though all these delays, which we'll get into in a minute, that's been happening in March. I mean, it's going to get. There's still a lot of games that are coming out in February and March, so that I'm interested in playing. So, yeah. So I need to definitely. I'm trying to clear out the table so I can actually start messing around with it to have more free time to mess around with those too. So yeah. But anyways, let's get down to it. Each of us chooses or picks a news topic of discussion within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be about a specific game or something that happened in the gaming industry. And so normally we do put this on Twitch, but because of all the issues that we were having on it, we decided to just do the podcast this episode. So we do apologize on that, but we'll try to fix the kinks out for next week's episode. But this one's can be featured on the podcast service, which everyone is able to get for free. So definitely check it out. And I think this week's topics are really awesome too. So let's definitely get right into it. So you know what? I guess I'll go first because I think it's going to be a meaty one itself. So basically, so we already know about all the delays that's been happening. I mean, Final Fantasy VII got delayed a month. What's it called? Cyberpunk got delayed till September and stuff. I mean, basically the big AAA games that were supposed to come out in March have been delayed, have been pushed back big time. Well, another one is now on that list. It's surprisingly, some people don't think that they consider it AAA, but I surely think that this is a big AAA title in my opinion. But Dying Light 2 has now been officially delayed, but it's now officially delayed indefinitely. They don't have a date set for it at all for it anymore. So originally earlier in the week, there was an article, or there was an email that Dying Light 2 announced, and I'll read the letter to them. It says, to our dedicated community, it was a busy year for us as we continued working on our biggest project to date. We know you are awaiting the game eagerly, and we want to deliver exactly what we promised. We were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately, we need more development time to fulfill our vision. We will have more details to share in the coming months, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have more information. We apologize for the unwelcoming news. Our priority is to deliver the experience that lives up to our own high standards and to the expectations of you and our fans. Please stay tuned, and thank you for our fans around the world to continue support, patience, and understanding. So, of course, so it's delayed, and it's delayed. You know what? Personally, where I stand with it, I'm fine with delays. The delays make sure they fix it to the biggest possible issue to make it to have the best release and the best chance for the game to get. But man, dude, like indefinitely. I mean, how bad?
That's
like
crazy.
Yeah, how bad was how far behind were they? I mean, Techland. It's funny because Dying Light 2 was never on my radar to be a big game until I went to E3 last year, and then they did the presentation and showed me all the stuff with it. And this game looked awesome. And then I was kind of, I mean, I wasn't looking forward to playing super hyped like I am with Cyberpunk, but it was still a game that I was very very interested in. But for them to say indefinitely, I was just wondering, it's awesome that you find this out that you need to delay it, but how bad are you? How far behind are y'all? Because I was you're just now announcing this 2 months before your official announcement of it to come out. It's what? So I just wanted to get y'all's views of this. When you hear delays like this, and just in general, the delays that's been currently happening, what do y'all feel about how these delays are? Are you good with? Are you for it? Are you against it? What are y'all's thoughts?
Smitty, I'll let you go for this one.
Okay. So I'm a person that I can respect the delays, especially if I feel like it's justified. If they just don't feel that it's there, they don't want to put out a piece of crap product, then yeah, I'm completely fine with the delays. But you're right, especially this year. Like, we have had multiple now AAA games, and bigger games, smaller games, pushing back their launch, and it's kind of making me think, like, what the hell is really going on here? Like, are you guys not planning things properly, or are there just little places that things are getting hung up on, and it's just taking a little longer? I would love to, when they're giving out and saying that there's these delays, if they would, kind of say, hey, we're having issue with X, Y, and Z. This is what's causing the delay. Just give us a little bit more, other than the fact that you're delaying. Again, I'm not saying that they have to, but it'd be nice so that we know, so us as the fans and people that are waiting for these games to come out, what the hell is going on and whatnot.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you saying?
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, like, I do see what you're saying, Smitty. It makes sense. I just feel that how the gaming industry is now, it's hard for them to be 100% transparent because of the community, though. Because, like, it's a weird gray line that they have to balance very delicately about things, because it's that level of entitlement on top of the level of, like, expectations is so thin, it's ridiculous. And sometimes, like, in certain delays, like, for instance, Final Fantasy VII Remake has only been delayed a month and stuff like that. And Cyberpunk 2077 is another what's it called? 2077 is 6 or 7 months out. Not bad, but like yeah, but like and in fact, I prefer that, because like it's not going to take like a week to beat 7. Well, for me at least, and then it's going to give us time to kind of enjoy the game without feeling rushed, that kind of deal. So yeah, I guess I can see where the little bit of the frustration I have with it is like, wow, how can you have an indefinite this close to when y'all's release is going to be out? I'm sorry, what were we going to say, Lex?
Oh yeah, no worries. Sorry, there's a delay on your screen, and so it's hard to tell when you're. I don't want to interrupt you. What I was going to say, yeah, I agree with Smitty. It's kind of nice to know what exactly is going on, especially if you're not going to give us like a date frame. This isn't a game that I had actually heard of. I've never seen gameplay of the first one. I've seen a couple of those characters, so I've definitely seen highlight clips here and there through the Twitch stream jumping that I do. But yeah, I'm always curious, like, what happened? Did they have a big company layoff? Are like stock shares going down? And so because of that, they're having to cut hours, and that's why the game isn't coming out on time. I'm just always curious, like, the game has to be complete, right? If they're giving a date, they're just going through and doing tweaks. Like, that's what I assume in my mind, right? Because that's what they do for movies. The movie's complete. You're seeing trailers, and they're just going through and like redubbing audio or doing, tweaks on, computer generation and things like that. So when it comes to games, I guess maybe I don't know the world so well as far as when they're announcing these things. Are they not even close? So curious, especially this year. I've noticed there's so many games that are being delayed. Like, what the heck's going on?
Well, I mean, like,
do they not have the computer power? I don't understand.
You know what? There's also another conspiracy theory about it too. Was that they were saying that another problem was not problem, but what people are thinking is that the possibility of the next gen console, since they're coming at the end of the year, that they're wanting to make it closer to these games to be closer and show like they're going to be easily backwards compatible between 4 and 5 without releasing a specific version for the 5. So some people are saying that. I mean, when something like an indefinite delay, like that was that actually crossed my mind too. Like, what if they are trying to release it for the next gen console as well as the previous gen, and then instead of just making its own completely different game with its own different kind of code, they could just easily just say, "Hey, here is Dying Light 2 for the PS5, PS4, PS3," without doing any kind of big changes, because I don't think that the next gen console is going to have a giant leap graphically comparatively to the 4. It's just, I think it's just like optimization. I think it's going to be a lot better, but I think it's very possible that they're just wanting to just, while they have the chance and opportunity, since the game's coming out on the last year, the overlapping year between the previous console and the new console, that they're wanting to have easy accessibility. But like I said, that's just all rumor. It's not guaranteed. It's not official, so.
Yeah, but I think you make a good point there too, though. It's like, 'cause I thought about that as well. It's like, with these new consoles coming out, like, this is one of those weird years where it's like, do you continue coming out with something for that, or are you going to build something for that next gen? Again, I don't think there's any kind of super major things as far as like graphically, but like back end stuff and whatnot, I don't know what goes into that. So that could also be, and of course we're just speculating, but that's what I was thinking too. Is like, maybe it has something to do with that, and them just creating something that they'll be able to go and it'll be good for these next gens, but also it's playable on the current stuff right now as well.
Yeah. So, I mean,
are they still? Maybe I'm stupid on this end too. I haven't owned a PS3 in years. Are they still putting out games for PS3?
No, they stopped officially releasing games on PS3, I believe, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, if I remember correctly. Wow,
okay.
why is my video delayed so badly?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's what you're laughing at.
We were giggling about it. I was like, wait, why is he just staring at
us? I was like, what is going on?
Hold on, let me refresh.
Davies.
Though, and especially just the amount of delays that have been happening with these bigger end games. I feel like you hear about it, maybe a few times throughout a year, but like, we haven't even gotten out of the first month of the year, and we're talking about 3 or 4 major games that are now delayed. And again, some of them aren't like you were saying, like Final Fantasy. That was it's only delayed by a month. Which is nice, but like the Cyberpunk was, that was supposed to come out like in April or something like that, and it got delayed to September, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like, again,
thrown all the way to September.
Yeah, jeez. And you got to think too, the new stuff, the new consoles, they'll be out. They'll come out in like October, I want to say,
either October, November.
Either late September or.
I'm assuming
October, try to be
November?
ready for Black Friday.
I think October, November. Yeah, well, they're definitely going to have to be there before Black Friday, because it's Christmas sales. So
right.
I think it's going to either be like late. It's going to be either mid to late October or early November is what I'm guessing. What I would guess. So yeah,
right. I'm just trying to think of when because I remember the PS4 dropped. I think I want to say that was in October. It was either, I want to say that was in October when that dropped. But like, I had that day one. Like, I was the one, the Amazon orders that came a day earlier, and it was amazing. Like, I literally have a screenshot. I was on Call of Duty, and I was one of 69 people in the world in the lobby.
Oh, yeah.
Or I was just like, I'm never going to have another chance or opportunity. You know what I mean? Where like, it's this day. I was like, yeah, exactly.
You're in the top 100.
I almost wonder, are some of these companies that are delaying the same, like working on multiple games, and it's one singular company? Do you know what I mean? With multiple branches working on, this AAA game and this AAA game, and they're both being delayed because they just don't have enough people to. That's just conspiracy theory in my head.
I don't think that they would at that point. Techland is not small. Techland's a pretty big company,
right?
So they should not when they say that they're going to be released. They're not gigantic, but they are big. But when they say they have a projection of when they're going to release it, they have a pretty good guess on a pretty good understanding on when it's going to coming out. So I don't know. It's really hard specifically for Techland with that one. I mean, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk had to have like a fleet of people. I mean, that's the team that's doing Witcher 3 and stuff. And I can only imagine how many people are going to be on that. Like, I bet you if you finish that game, it's going to be like ending credits for like 10 minutes or so. So with all the people that had their piece of the pie of that one. So, I mean, it's not but like I said, overall, I'm not disappointed in the fact that there are delays. I was just wondering, when they said, I guess the big thing was when I was wondering when they said delayed indefinitely, kind of got to me a little bit. I'm like, what? It's like, how? So they don't even have a date on when they're going to be done with this game. So who knows?
Right.
All right.
That is crazy. Yeah, they're just like, look, we're just it's gonna get done at some point in time.
Yeah, it'll be done when we say it's done. Yeah, essentially.
And again, in my head, these games are done when they release the coming out date, and they've already had people people that are fans play the game, go through the motions, say their reactions, you know what I mean, and give their feedback before this date is ever announced. I just am I silly on that? I just, in my head, that would be the marketable thing to do, right? Because if the game's going to come out on that day, you say it's coming out on that day, it should be almost 100% done, if not already done.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
I don't get it. But
there's always unforeseen circumstances. That's just in almost everything, but I guess that's what it is. Since the gaming industry is not really forthcoming.
Someone lost a thumb drive.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Since the gaming industry isn't truly forthcoming on this stuff, it's just okay. So we'll see. We got to go by their word. But we'll cut this one short a little bit. So well, it's not really short. It's been a little bit, but still. Okay. So
yes,
Smitty, you're up next. What do you have to bring up to the table here?
So I'm up next. I felt like it was I didn't get a lot of time this week to see. I don't know. I didn't really feel like, other than the delays and stuff like that, it didn't really feel like there was too terribly much going on. But I found a pretty cool story that I just wanted to talk about. Was that over in whatchamacallit, Legion, what the hell's the name of the game? Gosh dang it.
Watch Dogs?
Something Legion. Watch Dogs. So what they did was they did a virtual interview with the creator of Watch Dogs in game. I think it's the first time that this has happened. So to me, there's some sort of historical significance being able to have this interactivity, doing an interview within the game. And I assume that either somebody recorded it or maybe you'd have the opportunity to live stream that out to people. I think that could that not only just for journalism and things like that, but being able to have that and this isn't anything new, you know what I mean? We obviously have played multiplayer games and stuff like that where we have the ability to do this stuff. I just thought that was kind of cool, having and taking an interview and doing it, within the game, to talk about this game and whatnot. I thought was a pretty neat idea that they did. They did it with it was the BBC. That did this. So it was this reporter, and they basically built out. They put them into the game, as you can see here in the video and whatnot. So I thought it was just something that was cool and kind of notable as well. As far as in the journalism world, and again, I think it speaks to just video games, this culture and everything about it, and how it is becoming so much more mainstream as technology moves forward, and people are finding different ways to interact with it and do things with it and whatnot. So
wait a minute.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if you guys had heard about this, or
are you saying that they did
what
the
your guys'
interview?
thoughts are on this?
Are you saying that the interview that they did, the interviewer and the interviewee, were both in the game and they were doing an
Here it
interview inside the game?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
This is it right here. Yeah.
Like a real interview that they were posting on the BBC? Wow, that's crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is absolutely nuts.
Yeah. So that's insane.
Like it was the segment on the BBC.
Yeah. I was like, that to me is I mean, number one, how innovating, how awesome to be able to like, look what we can do. You know what I mean? And people are going to see stuff like this, and this is only going to grow, and they're going to be able to see more uses and find other practical uses to be able to do this. Soon enough, we're all just going to be living in our avatars, interacting. You know what I mean? So I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're going to be like Ready Player One in that kind of scenario.
Yeah, pretty much. So what's funny is I'd kind of seen videos of this, but it was more of actual people in Piccadilly Square, and I didn't quite understand what was going on, and it was a Twitter, like long Twitter feed, so I had to go back and I saw it, and I went to the actual like BBC report and saw the whole thing, and it just blew my mind. I can tell you, gaming went mainstream when my mom and I told her I was going to do esports full time and just streaming full time as a job as a disabled gamer, and my mom was like, "Oh, that's a great idea." To me, that immediately said to me that gaming has gone mainstream. Because if my mom, who is 65, can say, "Good for you, you should go for it," and she knows exactly what esports is and how it works and all of that kind of stuff, I mean, this is just bringing it to a whole other level. And it just shows, like, here's the bar and we've raised it. Everyone else needs to catch up with us now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so I think that kind of lights a fire under all of the other companies to get to that level if they're not already there, and to, you know, find something, because now everyone's going to want to do something bigger and better. And so for the consumer, I think that just, as a marketing standpoint, I mean, holy moly, that just sets a whole new precedent, and that's just, it's all beneficial for the consumer from here on out, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's just like to say that, like, now that they are able to bring like a news reporter from the regular news
BBC.
into the game. Yeah, BBC. For some reason I was thinking BNN, but I was like, that's not right. So yeah, so
news network.
Yeah. So with the BBC itself is just to go inside the game, because you know it's funny, because like a long time ago with this kind of with mocap technology in general, mocap technology takes a lot of resources, and then you would think that it would be like, okay, we don't want to use mocap for that kind of thing, for something as trivial as a specific kind of interview, because it would be hella expensive, you know, so like, or for both sides to do it. And I mean, now it just seems like for them to just say, hey, we'll make an avatar of you inside the game, and then we can interview you within the game. And don't get me wrong, that's like a great way to market your game too, on top of that. Like, so it's just like, oh wow, look how fluidly easy it was for us to do this. Maybe it wasn't as easy as I'm saying it was, but it's still easy enough for them to set up a specific day to do all of this is incredible to me. So like, yeah, I mean, just seeing the how technology has grown to get to these points is very, very remarkable. So definitely very remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, I thought that was a cool little story, and just within that, especially just being in that, because that's exactly right. You know, other people are going to see, oh, we never even thought that this could be a thing. You know what I mean? What more? How much more can we explore and go in? And again, this all leads to people, you know what I mean, having these lives. I mean, look how popular like a GTA 5 role play. I know there's Arc role play, and I want to do one of the role plays. It looks like so much fun. You know what I mean? So like, you know, I think people are gonna continue pushing the boundaries on that stuff. And I mean, again, it's a way for people to be able to escape and become a different character and transport to a different world. So, you know, it's fun seeing, especially when you're seeing things like the BBC and these bigger media companies. There is a lot more acceptance, I feel, in it, and they see a lot more legitimacy, not only within this industry, but
too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, very nice.
Which is awesome.
Oh, no doubts, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's cool. That's a good one, Smitty. Is there anything else you wanted to add to it, or? Were you good?
No, just a cool little thing that I found that, I wanted to bring up.
All right, very awesome. Alrighty, and
Sweet.
as always, we got the last but not least, we got Lex's topic. So, Lex, what do you have to bring to the table?
Well, so this one's kind of for all my Overwatch gang. So there's discussions. You either love the 2-2-2 format that is now there, or you absolutely hate it. In full retrospect, though, I mean, let's be honest, this is the most well-balanced it has been as far as overall. Obviously, there are tweaks that they're going to make to characters. Like Reaper in the lower levels right now he kind of dominates, but in the higher levels and the higher rankings, he's really not a character that you see picked often, just because he doesn't output as much damage in the higher ranks as he does in the lower ranks. But that's also, there's a huge difference in player mentality in bronze than there is in diamond and master, etc. But there was rumors, and I'll be honest, I don't feel like I've necessarily gotten a full yes or no all of the research that I've done. So I watched a video earlier this week, and it was talking about the current patch that came out on the 23rd, and the feeds and all of that. And then I saw a video.
Yeah, no, it did something weird when I switched over video. Just run it back from when.
Yeah, sure. So I'll kind of do like a quick recap. So there was rumors after the January 23rd update with the PTR feedback was that there was now going to be a hero ban. So if you're playing comp, obviously there are 2 teams of 6. And because it is now 2-2-2, let's say you play the first round, the Hammond team wants to get rid of the Mei because the Mei can stop Hammond, right? As a tank, that's the DPS that they want voted out. So that would then make the Mei have to pick another DPS in that lineup. There was also another kind of twist on that, is that not only could they do a hero ban, the other team could do a hero ban as well, but then the team, instead of doing a hero ban, could outvote the Mei. So it was kind of more, basically a hero ban was what was rumored. I watched extensive videos working since the game overall is really balanced right now, and I'm really enjoying the 2-2-2. I know some people absolutely despise it. I happen to really like it, especially in the comp setting. I feel that it's definitely being a healer main, if my team isn't outputting enough DPS, I know I need to switch to Moira, Anna, or Baptiste, depending on what maps we are, so I can, obviously kill people as well and help my DPS out, so on and so forth. So that's the hero ban could work, but it could also really unbalance the game itself. So I was really curious what Jeff Kaplan was going to say after all of the rumors and people speculating and all of the YouTube videos that I was watching and so on and so forth. But Jeff finally came out, and I'll read his excerpt real quick. It's pretty short. Basically, he was saying, I've seen a lot of discussion about the hero bans the past few days, and I just wanted to offer some perspective on the topic. As always, Overwatch has a wide variety of opinions about the concept. Interestingly, we don't have many people on the team vehemently arguing for this feature. More of us, including myself, are reluctant to add hero bans to Overwatch. As I've said before, we're not the mindset of that we're opposed to the idea entirely, and we'll never add them. But overall, there are a number of issues that make us want to proceed with this carefully. So to me, right off the bat, that means they don't necessarily want to do it, but they think that this actually might work well. Coming at this from a game design perspective, the number one thing we ask is, what is the problem that we're trying to solve? We're not fans of just adding ideas in just because another game is doing it. We call this the bottom-up design. And then he kind of goes into it a little bit more. And then as it goes down, when I hear people want hero bans, the conversation usually revolves around a few reasons. People don't like the meta that's stagnant. They believe with hero bans, they will be able to ban out the meta heroes, thus moving the meta. In general, the meta is not moving. Not moving is perceived by the player base as bad. People are frustrated with the balance of certain heroes, which that's constantly changing anyways. With hero bans, they feel like they can ban out the heroes they are frustrated with. And people do not like playing against certain heroes. With the hero bans, they feel like they can ban out, obviously, those heroes that they don't want to play against, thus helping them perform better. As a team, we agree that we understand that players want a meta to be more fluid and move more frequently, even though the vast majority of players only experience the meta through OWL. Feedback from GMs, streamers, and YouTubers, we get the perception of the stale meta is not good for the game. They have plans to move the meta, and they'll be talking about these in upcoming developer updates. We get it. We agree. Make the meta move faster. Okay. But implementing that doesn't mean that the meta will move. So he kind of really hasn't given us a... Sorry about that. I don't know how to make that stop. They're not really giving us an answer. It's not saying yes or no. They're looking forward to sharing next week's development, and they'll clarify more things. But in the meantime, I wanted to tell you where we're at with the hero ban specifically, since so much misinformation is being spread. So it seems like a lot of big gaming news outlets are reporting that this was going to happen. And so because of that, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Because of that, I mean, I have to ban that person. Because of that, he wanted to come out and say, here's what's going on. But in Jeff Kaplan's world, he didn't say if it was going to happen or if it wasn't. And so I'm kind of intrigued what's going to happen next week, because he said it's going to happen before the end of the month. So that's in a few days.
So are we saying that this is going to be specifically,
you know what I mean?
Is this specifically saying that will there or won't there be ban hammers, essentially? Is this what this is?
No, not like that. It's with...
So I think League of Legends does it, right?
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, so you're talking about when you could choose a character. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. When you could choose a character, you choose the characters to ban for the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and I think it's...
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking, so why can't they just make it as if they're just if they want a little bit of both worlds, like in a ranked match or the serious matchmakers, they do the bans of the characters. I don't see a problem with it personally, because that just means that if you're a dedicated, the people are going to hurt the most out of this is if they're dedicatedly one person. They're forced to learn somebody else. I don't mind that at all, but but why don't you just keep it as a quick match or a quick game to disable the banning? Just still leave it like a free for all, so that will be your platform that you can play with if you're to test out all these characters all the time, and not do the ban on the regular free play mode.
I think it's more or less. Go ahead, Smitty.
No, I was going to say, because I feel kind of the opposite way about it. I think it would be to me, it's especially in a competitive game like that, to me, you gotta, everybody has counters. There's ways there's not anybody there or any particular thing that can't be stopped. And people kind of this is where, especially with some of these gamers, man, I feel like they kind of this is hard, this is, and they'll complain about it. And it's look, dude, you just have to figure out a different way to get around it, but it's not impossible. And they're making their tweaks and their balances and stuff like that. But to see a hero ban and then you have people dictating how you play the game, and I'm not a fan of that either. You know what I mean? I feel like people should be free to choose whatever they want to. And again, the 2-2-2 is okay. I feel bad for DPS mains because I know that they're always gonna have long wait times. So now you've completely changed their experience and how they play competitively. You know what I mean, on in the game because of these wait times. So that kind of, you know what I mean, that sucks. But I do think that there's an opportunity, like you're saying, within quick play or something like that, where you allow this to happen. happen and kind of, use that as almost like a testing ground. I mean, they'd put it on the PTR, but kind of use that as a testing ground to see, all right, let's see how people feel about it. And, we'll just kind of go from there. Yeah, I don't know. And I know that he was like, I'm familiar with what you're talking about as far as like that with that statement. I read the doodad, but it sounds like there's a lot of changes that are coming. And I know that there's nerfs coming to like Sigma and Orisa. They basically are making like they're making Sigma not as viable, so they're killing the double shield tank meta is basically what they're killing within doing that. So they're doing things and they're implementing things to kind of shift the meta a little bit, but people are complaining about it's not happening fast enough, it's not whatever, and, so it's I'm good with the rate that they're doing. I love the fact that they actually address the community as far as what's going on, what their thoughts are, not giving any kind of definitive answer. But we do know here in the next few days that we should be getting some big news about some major updates. I'm guessing there's going to be the Hero 32 announcement that will come within this conference as well. Yeah, absolutely. It's about that time. So, I'm excited.
So, and I agree with Smitty, because Smitty and I played together with Overwatch for years. And I learned healer main because I wanted to be on his little 6-man crew, and that's the position that they were missing at the time. So here's my thoughts on it. I want to test it out in PTR. I want to see what it's like before I just absolutely say no. But as far as gameplay, you'll always have a counter. That's just how it works. It's learning how to get around that counter, working with your teammates, and making sure that counter cannot stop you. I think with the ban, if let's say the other team can outvote the ban that they wanted, so they wanted the Mei out and that the team said no, instead of banning one of your teammates, let's say we're just going to say no, we're going to let our Mei play instead of banning out one of your teammates. I think that's going to cause people to then do the panic switching, which never helps anyone in any situation, because you lose your ults, you're wasting time, you're not teaming up, and it just always ends up becoming a mess. And I think that's going to excuse that behavior, especially in the lower levels. And I think that's an issue that they have now is they're nerfing these tanks because the lower levels, they throw their shield down and they post up and they're not moving with their team. And so because of that, that's why they're making these meta changes. And I think that will further help the people in the lower levels learn and grow if they so choose to. A lot of people are stubborn in their ways and they wonder why they're stuck in that level. And it's because you want to make changes and learn and better yourself. You feel like you're the one not making mistakes in your match, when in reality, everyone can always learn. I may be decent at Lucio, but there's always new things for me to learn. There's always new things to learn with my teammates and how to partner up and just in general. You can always learn new things. That's in life, in games, so on and so forth. So again, I like Jeff Kaplan's response. He didn't say, yes, we're going to do it. He didn't say, no, we're not going to do it. You're going to have to wait. And I dig that, they're addressing us, and that's cool because it blew up. And I don't know how it blew up, but all of a sudden I was seeing YouTube videos popping up left and right, like Overwatch is changing, ha ha ha.
But back up though, hold on a moment though, because there's one I want to know though, like when y'all play like you're saying with the meta and stuff, do y'all play with randoms or do you usually have a squad to play in?
It depends.
Me personally, I only like to do competitive. I like to do duos or trios. Okay, I don't like to go higher than that.
Okay, so but even though with the duo or trios, have in comp,
the harder.
Yeah, okay. So, but if you have the duos or trios, it's the people that you know, right? Like, it's not like it's a random at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm just saying that, because, I'm just looking at the opposite side, because, I definitely see the grievances towards this, but, and I know, and then, but, I guess the reason why, the only thing I could think of why they're wanting to do this is because since this is an e-league, an esports game, and most other esports games are also doing the same thing. And even though Jeff Kaplan said that he doesn't want to do a bottoms up layout, that's what other esports games do. Is because these bans for individuals and stuff like that, because they want to shake up your team's meta, not because of the comfortability, but more like the staticness of seeing the same people like doing the same kind of thing. Right. So I could see that this is showing another source of competition. The way I'm looking at this is that like, okay, if they do it, they shouldn't do it all around, is what I'm saying. It's like they shouldn't say, hey, quick match, ban the ban hammer, the ban thing is happening. No, quick match still stays the same. Right. Or like the only thing that would need to have bans and something like that would be competitive, because usually in competitive would be the fact that would be like that y'all usually have a group. I'm just going by assumptions here, because I don't play Overwatch as much as y'all do. But I'm just saying that like usually here is that y'all have y'all's own group, and then they're wanting to mix it up to say, hey, if y'all do this, I don't know what the 2-2-2 is specifically, but like if y'all have a specific formation that y'all always do, and y'all always do that just naturally, they're wanting to say, okay, this is what's enforcing them to say, okay, you can't do that because this character's banned, so you have to figure out another way. Thus makes you forced to play with a different character, or figure out a different formation to play against. It's like, it's kind of that's how I'm looking at this. I mean, am I wrong?
No, hold on. So they implemented the 2-2-2 is you're forced now into having 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 healers. You can't have like 3 tanks, 1. You can't have any kind of variety, which I feel kind of a bit of an issue on its own. And that's what I was talking about. Like, I feel bad for DPS, for people that, primarily play DPS. They're always going to experience long wait times, because that's what everybody's trying to play is DPS. You know what I mean? So it's like, it sucks that they kind of have that. And that's only, or they have a quick play mode that's like that, but then they also have a quick play mode that's just, how it was before as well. So they still have that, you could do your normal thing. But yeah, I guess my problem with it is just, I just don't like having somebody else dictate how a team plays. You know what I mean? Just because, I can now get rid of this character that if it's a solid player, they're gonna, but we'll just have to work as a team and really do our job in making sure that they're not able to do what they trying to do. As opposed to just that nobody can even use that character.
Yeah, but here's the question too. Here's another question I have too. Like, I'm pretty sure there's now, depending on the stages that you're going to, are certain characters better than other characters on those specific stages? Like, let's say that you go to Gibraltar. Okay, so like that's what that. I mean, the way I'm looking at this, the ban thing, if it happens, is that it's just another form of competition. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm not looking at it of them saying that they're tired of people doing the same kind of things, or they're saying people are they're bowing down to the people's complaints of like saying this guy is way too good or whatnot. I think that they're just showing a new way of fighting in these kind of forms though. And I do see, and I see what you're saying too, Smitty, because it it's annoying. It is annoying. It's meant to be annoying because it throws the wrench in the middle of your planning of like saying, okay, we're going to be here. If we're going to this stage, these are the good people that use it. These are the people that you would want to use for this specific stage. But then depending on how many bans are going to be, 1 or 2, hopefully it's only 1. Then they'll be like, okay, we know this guy is like the S tier for this stage. We're gonna ban him. And then that's just going to then if your team is good enough, they're going to readjust for that ban. And I think the natural competition of that is where it's going to show. So I'm kind of for it. I think it's just a different look of how competition is going to look like in Overwatch, just to see what are people going to do to circumvent these this wrench and stuff like that, So I mean,
it becomes another game component
yes.
that you have to kind of strategize around. No, I see what you're saying, and that I can see the fun in that. I think your point is absolutely valid as well. You know what I mean, as far as within those respects, because it's like, ooh, this wrench that is always going to be coming. How are they going to play it off? You know what I mean? Or maybe they pick something dumb and it doesn't do them any favors at all. So I can see it. I'm not necessarily against it. I'm always willing to try out new things, and I think that would give it a little more depth to the competitive scene as well, and really shake things up, because it would keep things less stagnant within the game. Yeah. So I feel you on that.
Well, and here's a component that seemed to be really adamant in everything that I watched, was that it would be most likely for comp, and it would be one per team, but after you played the first round. So let's say the Hanzo on the other team is just nailing headshots after headshots. So then your team says, you can't play Hanzo anymore. Sorry, sucker. And so then their Hanzo for long range is fantastic, right? So now their team has to either play a Widow or an Ashe, most likely, you know what I mean, to kind of balance back out the team, or completely just go out of left field and pick something else. And so that's where it was more or less like, no, you're going to play the first round and then you can say no more of that guy. So I guess we'll see in a few days. But again, I'm with Smitty. I think that would be kind of cool, but I also don't know how I feel about it until I try it. You never know until you try something. So
that's very true.
I'm kind of interested though.
Okay, well,
it's interesting. I love Overwatch and I can grind that all day. So
yep.
Yes. So definitely. So, but no, we'll definitely see. You'll definitely keep us in touch on when that happens. Hopefully, there has to be something this week if that's the case, because this is the last week of January.
It's this week, dude.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
I imagine they'll be announcing the I'm excited. It's got to be a new character will be a part of the announcement, which I'm pretty sure is going to be Echo.
I hope so.
I don't know who Echo is, but I'll go with that.
Yeah.
All right, folks. This is episode number 33 of the CFG Gamecast. We do once again apologize for not doing the stream, the live stream today, but we will be back again next weekend for some more podcast goodness. So definitely stay tuned. Go on our Twitch, CFG Gamecast, and we will definitely do some more stuff there. Lex, is there anything you'd like to promote for the week?
Sure. Of course. So I'm always on Monday through Thursday, unless I'm not. And I'll let you know on the socials. But Monday is Monster Hunter Monday. Do you like Monster Hunter? You should come by. If not, Spoopy Tuesday is more your speed. You like horror games? You like watching people scream and get scared, and it's your entertainment? That's more your speed. Spoopy Tuesday, man. Come on by. We'll be here.
All right, awesome. How about you, Smitty? Anything
and
for you?
Opie will be too.
Oh yeah, not sleeping.
We will be dropping the first two episodes of LAN Parties podcast. So check the socials and all that good stuff. And then we'll be back. I'm hoping this week I'll be able to stream Thursday. I want to do Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday or Saturday, or one of the two or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And I hope everybody has a good week. Let's get it going. Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Awesome. And always, you can check us out, Davis, over at CFG Games. Was planning on doing a Monster Hunter, but I might not be able to do it tonight. But was going to go do maybe finish up the Indivisible stream, hopefully this week, and we'll figure out what I'm going to do next after that. But we usually do Monster Hunters on Sundays, but definitely stay tuned on CFG Games. Alrighty. Then you can definitely check us out anytime. But this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all, take it easy.
Bye.